Okay, guys, we got a real treat for you today. I had the author of this book, Connection, by Rabbi Gottesman. He is an old friend of mine that we've only known on the phone for years and years and years. He is someone helping the whole community. He's awesome. I really, really look up to him. He runs a program called Transcend, and they're all over the country, and he is one of the most genuine, awesome people you'll ever meet. And I got to sit down with him. Hopefully there'll be many more podcasts with him. Talk about so many topics about recovery, vulnerability, even psychedelics. Don't tell anybody. But we talked about so many things. I felt like I reconnected with a brother from another mother. And so also, I'll just say it again, Connection by Rabbi Gottesman. Go buy it in wherever you buy books, I'm assuming. And remember to like, follow, subscribe, write comments. I said last time you can even write nasty comments as long as you put a heart at the end, so you know that I know it's coming from love. Love you and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Brainstorm Podcast. And now, your host, Sonny Perlman.
We're live.
Okay, cool.
Welcome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you after 2 decades. Finally get to meet you in person after a million phone calls and lots of connections. But anyway, first of all, there's a lot to say, but you were saying something. Could you say it again?
Yes, I was saying that I've listened to many of your podcasts. Firstly, I'm going to say something really important about you, Sonny. You're I don't want to say the only, because the only is too much, but I'm so grateful you've never sold out in any way, shape, or form. I still don't know how you did it, because I think I've sold out somewhat in some shapes or forms, but we can get into that at a different time. I have so much admiration that you never went the for-profit route.
Okay.
And you
It's
by the
harder.
by the way, Sonny could be charging $600, $1,000 an hour for his time, and people would pay it. So, and he doesn't. And I just, to me, wow on that. Okay, move on.
No, for the layman,
Yes.
I want to break that down a little bit. First of all, that's one of the greatest compliments you could give me. Although the pressure is on.
Yeah, it's enormous,
always,
right?
It's always on. And I don't have a good answer. I know you're not asking as a question, you're saying as a comment, but people think I dislike money. I adore money. I think money is fantastic, and it's a great opportunity for people to do greatness with. It's an amazing tool. I just in this particular field that I just been hanging on to. We need a part of it that is just like, I guess, l'shem shamayim. We say, like, it's just, we're gonna help the downtrodden to the best of our ability. If they have no insurance, you have no, like, that's. I don't know if I've kicked myself in the tuchus. I think I have. But
I mean, you live in a Orthodox world, and your expenses are out of this world. And I know, okay, I don't know. I've never seen your bank account, but I know you struggle because there is no way that you're just rolling in it.
Right.
So, and I don't think you're anti-money. I just think that you do it l'shem shamayim, and I admire that so greatly, because I remember the most impactful time I had in this recovery world was when I started Sober Livings, that I was charging $800 a month, and I don't remember anybody paid full price. I couldn't pay my bills, but I was happier than I ever had been in my whole life. And today, thank God, I can pay all my bills and take care of my family. And the cases that still impact me the most are those that I either take in for free or I pay for, right? And thank God now I can pay for them. But even then I paid for them and I borrowed the money. It just, to me, it's the balance, right? Doctors, I don't have anything against doctors making a lot of money. I just think when the money takes the priority, and I don't know how, as people in this field, we're able to balance that. And I think that's a challenge, right? You've chosen that world where you make less money. I don't want to say no money. It's that, but but less money. Let's call it that. I've chosen the world where for the first 15 years in the business, I chose to make less money and be in the areas. And I still had high-end sober livings, and thank God. I'm not complaining. Yet as I move into the element of the treatment worlds or passive investor and other treatment centers or real estate part of it, to me, I don't get the same reward internally. I talk about my book. That's zero service. And I say, when I take somebody in zero money, but they have insurance, that's not chesed.
Right.
That's not chesed. Chesed is taking somebody and spending time with them for nothing, for free, for not doing it, or on a nonprofit basis, and really giving of myself. And you're my Rabbi in it.
Thank you. Wow. No, you're familiar with AZ House, right?
Of course.
So my dream is that it's a community resource. Like, it's free. Everything I do is just free. Now I'd have to raise a tremendous amount of money to do that, but that is my dream. And when I say that, it's like ridiculous. Why don't you just go the for-profit route? I want to go like, this is offered by the community for the people who need it. You
could do that.
I'm working
Meaning you
on
could
it.
go the for-profit route and then supplement it with that.
Right.
Because I actually made a plan. I'm moving to Israel in 3.5 years. I'm out. And when my kids have graduated high school, I'm done with LA. LA is not a good place. It's not a bad place, but it's not a good place for an Orthodox Jew who wants to do chesed, because you need to make so much money in LA just to break even. And I said, my friend Rabbi Avi Berman, who runs OU Israel, I said to him, Avi, all I want when I get to Israel.
Is that the YU rabbi's son?
No relation.
Oh, okay.
No relation.
Ari
at all.
Berman.
That's Ari Berman.
Yeah.
No, Rabbi Avi Berman is Fyvie Berman's son, who happens to be a therapist, but non-practicing, I think. But Avi's a tzaddik. And I said to Avi, I want an office with a sign on the door that says, we're here to help. I don't want a big organization. I don't want anything. And I want to sit with people for free, for fun and for free. You pay me if you don't show up. You pay me if you don't do the work. If you're really to do the work, I don't want anything. And that's what I would like to do with the rest of my life.
I like that. Wow. That actually sounds like a dream. I actually am coming up to this year. My youngest is graduating high school.
Oh, wow.
And in my brain, that was my plan was, okay, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to write. I'm going to, it's not going to happen. But it was a plan. It was a plan. And I totally hear this plan. It's such a great idea. And that's kind of how that's what I want my retirement to look like. I don't know if you're up to retirement, but.
No, again, I'll call it retirement. Again, I'd like to learn for a few hours a day. I'm not super Jew here. And again, I enjoy the learning aspect. I'm not a full day learner for sure. I want to learn a few hours a day, majority of my day, and then maybe some investments on the side and stuff. I don't want to work in Israel, and I don't want a large organization. I really want to impact people. The connection I feel when I get to work one-on-one with an individual without any financial expectation, especially when they're adolescents, then I could tell the parents, hey, I don't take your money. So I can actually tell you what I think and what I feel from a loving perspective. I'm not here to dictate. And we can actually have an honest dialogue. And your kid is going to trust me. You know why? Because I don't take your money. If I take your money, your kid automatically won't trust me.
Right. So
that's my goal. And Israel, unfortunately, has two types of people: those with trauma and those that don't know they have trauma.
I do love that. Okay, so many things you said I want to go deeper in, but I wanted to go back to, because my biggest criticism that I have on this podcast is what you just said. You said it very nicely, but I was like, say that.
Okay, I'll go back. I said that you're very, very agreeable to almost everybody that comes on the show, and I don't feel that you take a very strong stance on things. And I know that you have some strong opinions, which actually I was giving it to you as a compliment. I admire.
Yeah.
I still want to know why. And it reminds me of the story of the couple that comes with their therapist to the rabbi because the therapist can't help them adjudicate. And the rabbi says to the wife, you go first. And she says her complaint against her husband. And the rabbi goes, you're right. That's terrible. And then the husband goes next. And the husband says his complaint against the wife. And he says, actually, you know what? You're right. That's terrible. And the therapist says, they're diabolically opposite. How can they both be right? And the rabbi goes, actually, you're right too. So sometimes I feel that
I love that. I love
right, that you're able to literally see how everybody's right. I haven't heard you say how anybody's wrong. And again, I don't want them to, it's not about right or wrong. It's just I admire your mahalach because and not to mention people on your show because that's purposeless.
Okay,
it really is. It's not.
Well, let me respond.
Go ahead. Please respond.
There have been people on the show that I have disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this has come with age. When I was younger, there was a lot more fight in me. And I've discovered something really interesting is that I've become every year consistently a bigger moron. Like I am like, wow, how do I have so much information, so much instinct, and I know so little? That's kind of, I think everybody gets that as they get older. They're like, what? It's like, how did that happen? I'm getting dumber. Like I used to make fun because teenagers, like they have no respect for their parents. And like maybe they're onto something. Like we're pretty dumb. We think we're way smarter than we are, but we're not. So anyway, one of the things that I like really drives me crazy with the world is that this debate culture. It's like you're right, I'm wrong, I'm right. And I have developed like a way of doing, let's say, my marriage, which I talk about a lot because I'm in love with my marriage. The idea of my marriage and my wife. But in my marriage, I always realized, even from early on, that there is two truths in every situation. There's a truth of this argument we're having. So I might be right, you might be right. And then there's a way bigger truth, the capital T truth, which is I would like to be deeply connected to this human being forever and ever on a highly spiritual, intense level. So if this little fight, this argument is going to sever that in any way, then it's actually not truth. Even though I'm right, I'm wrong. They say you're dead right. You know, like, you ever hear that expression?
Yeah, sure. Right? You're dead right, or you're the loneliest man on the top of the mountain being right by yourself.
Exactly. So in a way, and this is why I admire like kind of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is also like whoever comes on his podcast just seems right. And he like makes it, he pumps them up. I was so confused why Kamala didn't come on the podcast because he's going to make her look good. She doesn't realize it. He's not a debater. Once in a while, someone says something so moronic that he debates them. But generally, he's not debating them. So when I came up with the idea of a podcast, it was I want to hear everybody else's views, not sit there and argue them and say what's right, what's wrong. It was the connection that I wanted more than I wanted the argument. So most people are like, okay, so you're platforming someone you disagree with, and you're not even saying you're disagreeing with them. Like my wife said this about my last podcast. I just put up my last podcast, and the person who was on was a good friend of mine, Yehuda Jacobowitz, and he had very different religious views to me. But if you listen to the conversation, it sounds like we agree. That's right. My wife was like, you have kids. I have to get married. Could you not say that you're, a renewal Judaism person? Like, could we not do that? So once in a while, I'll be like, okay, this is like egregious. Like I need to argue with that. But it's very once in a while because to me, I'm just loving being in that conversation. And I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble because the whole reason for the podcast is to hear other views. I'm not intimidated by anybody's views. I have my views. I don't need your views. And I'm surprised that people listen to a podcast and go, oh, well, Sonny had him on, so now I agree with him. Listen to the person, figure it out on your own. And decide. Right. I once had a thing that somebody asked me, like, this guy's writing a book, and he called me to ask, is this something that's gonna hurt people, this book? and I didn't agree with his views. I did not agree with his views. But I'm like, put the book out. Like,
and see what happens.
Let the world see.
What if you felt it was really damaging? Would you have told him? So if it was egregious, as you said.
It would have to be very egregious. I do believe his book was good for a certain population.
I want to go back to something you just said.
Okay.
Because you said listen.
Yeah.
And that's something most of us never do in our entire lives. If you notice, when most people are speaking, we're so busy thinking about how we're going to respond that we don't listen at all. Mm-hmm. Right. And you said, I'm so comfortable with my views and where I stand that I can listen because I'm not afraid. Right. And that's awesome. So I think there's your answer. Your answer is, I'm not afraid. So if I change my mind because I listened to you, great. I got more information. And yet I'm very comfortable with where I stand. So I can listen to you and still determine where I stand.
Right. Okay. It becomes a big issue with even like my views on the field. So let's say I have some real issues, let's say, with Suboxone or methadone, and I have some real issues that I've seen. And I do believe it's helped some people. I'm not saying it's never helped anybody, but I do have some issues, and I've gotten into arguments about it. It's even if I let it go, it's all right. The real issue I'm having is when I'm dealing with religious issues. For some reason, that really people get so furious about that. Because I want to have on this podcast, to me, it's a Jewish podcast. Now, that does not mean an Orthodox Jewish podcast. But if you grew up Orthodox, that's what it means.
Right.
Right?
There's only one way.
Yeah, there's only one way. So I say, listen, I want to get on a woman rabbi. Rabbi Buchtal just wrote a gorgeous book. And I bought her book, and I'd love to have her on. I'm like, is that going to screw up my life? I want to hear her. But do I have to sit there going, you're wrong, reform is wrong? Okay, I'm living an Orthodox life. I think that person's wrong. You can guess that from the way I'm living. But to me, the highest spiritual thing is two people connecting deeply, listening to each other's ideas, letting it sit. If you have to argue, you have to argue. I just don't like debates. It's like, let Ben Shapiro do the debates. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, I don't even know that I'm good at debates. Okay, there's your answer. So the answer is you want to hear what people say. You're not afraid to disagree inside, yet you don't need, yet you're so comfortable with yourself, you don't need to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong, unless it's egregious. Right. But okay. I feel like I'm on borrowed time with that. Because eventually people are going to be like, come on, say something.
Say something. So, yeah, I'd love you to say something. And if I say something that you disagree with, I want to hear it.
I disagree with that.
Okay, great. Awesome.
I disagree. I will not say anything.
Okay, good. Because I know genuinely you love me. So you would straight up call me out in a loving way. And and the other thing is you've had many people on here that have, for lack of a better word, a mahalach, or a way about life. And I find the more I grew up and the more stupider I get, as you said, even though that's not a word, I realize that this is truly individualized. Like we are all unique. Yeah, we all say we're unique. Now, certain things work for everybody across the board, okay? A 12-step meeting will not hurt any human being in the whole world. It just won't. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe there are people in the 12-step programs that will hurt many, many people, but that concept, so please don't tell me that's not for me. Okay, you don't have to go to it. Don't do it. But I'm saying there's a universal prayer, universally, meditation, universally, right?
Right.
Yet, when we start saying you got to give unconditional love, or you cut them off completely, when anybody starts to take in our arena, starts to take a absolute stance, I know they're automatically wrong. They haven't met the individual. So to tell me that it works 100% of the time, anything, is ridiculous. So
I agree with you 100%, and I want to disagree, but I will tell you, okay, you're bringing up let's not mention names, but we'll bring up the idea of like this unconditional love thing.
Yeah. which I admire and I agree with. Just sometimes unconditional love means no.
Okay, so no, here's the deal that I've experienced with parents. When I first started, I was very into like negotiating, sitting down, coming up with what the child, sometimes it was an adult child, what they want, what the parents want, finding a medium ground, finding a way. Here's the frustration I had. The frustration I had was it's way too nuanced for us sickos to be able to do right. Meaning if we get a rule, here's the rule. Don't ever yell at your kids, right? Now, that's not true. Once in a while, you need to yell at your kids. But if you have someone with an anger issue and you say, just don't, just no more. You will miss 2 or 3 really good yelling opportunities. Yes, you'll miss them. And it would have been a great opportunity for a good yell.
Right.
And it would have been appropriate. But don't yell at all. What I have found with these extreme things, and it confuses me because I live in the world of gray.
Right.
Everything is gray. Like, I really do agree with almost everybody that talks to me. That sounds crazy because I see the merit in everything.
Right. No, and I agree with you on it.
The problem is that most people want to hear a Yosef Mizrahi saying, if you touch your pee-pee, then you're going to hell. You know, and saying, oh, shoot, I'm probably going to cut that one out. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rabbi Mizrahi, when you come on, we'll fix that. I'm just kidding. What I'm saying is people need to hear. I feel like people are looking for exact rules because this area of gray is just too freaking uncomfortable. It's just really uncomfortable. And people aren't able to keep it up. So I say, listen, okay, you're going to give your kids money, but not always. So if you give them money, but not always, so how much you giving them? And so I have to say, pick an amount. That's your amount. You give them every week. We'll discuss it in 2 months from now to see if we need to change it. But that's not going to be right. This 2 weeks, a week into that, he has spring break and he wants more money, and now you got to fight with him. So what I'm saying is that people need specific rules. I'm trying to get to my point. My point is that I would rather people err to the extreme level of unconditional love than screw up and go the other way, because I find the nuances. So that's why I become a very big proponent of this extreme view, not because it makes any sense in my head. I'm a parent. There's always, there are times where you go that way and times you go that way. Mm-hmm. That's part of being a parent. But you've screwed up. There's so much trauma involved. There's so much issues. You're telling a story about a father with a tattoo before we were on air. And I don't know if you want to tell the story.
Yeah,
again.
I'll tell the story because it moved me more than anything in the entire world. There was a father who was a lifer in Kollel. And for those of you who listen and don't know what Kollel is, no, I'm joking. But he was a lifer.
There are people.
Right, I got it. They were a lifer studying Torah his whole life. That's all he did, his entire life, this guy. And he had a son who was both a substance abuse issue and mental health challenges. Sweet, sweet boy. And the boy was off his medication, and it was actually Erev Yom Kippur. It was right before Yom Kippur. And the son called the father. He goes, I want to ask Mechila, is what he said. And I want to ask for forgiveness. And he said, Dad, I got a skull and bones tattoo on my arm. And I'm really sorry, Dad. And his father said, as long as you're healthy, I don't care. And I actually had tears in my eyes because I said, that's unconditional love.
Sorry to do that to you. I had an OCD moment.
No problem.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, cool. So I'm back on the story. Sonny had an OCD moment. I don't know what he saw.
I was like, did I press the button?
Did you?
I did. I
did. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Good.
Fantastic. So when he said that, and then he said to the son, listen, and it's Yom Kippur tonight, and if Asher tells you to eat, you listen to him and you eat. Okay, so this is a father who his entire life is truly black and white, okay? It's black and white for Judaism in its ultimate form, in its greatest orthodox form. Yet he knew enough, or somehow he knew enough, to be unconditionally loving towards his child, to not shame his child. Wow. And I called the father and I said, I know you have no money, but you just paid me more than anybody's ever paid me in my whole life. Your son is taken care of. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. And at that point in time, I really had no money.
Yeah.
And that blew me away. So I'm a total believer in unconditional love. And I want you to know that I believe that the problem today is children don't know. that their parents love them. So if we can reestablish with our children that they know we love them no matter what, I mean it, no matter what. Okay, commit murder. Okay, you're the worst guy in the whole world. You're still my child. Okay, God gave it to you as my child. I love you no matter what. I believe if they really know that, and you work on that, and you do not punish them out of anger, you can say no. I've seen it where I've asked a child to leave his parents' house because he was smoking. They lived in a 3-bedroom apartment. He was smoking heroin in the other room. And I said, Nathan, I love you so much. You know I love you, man. He goes, yeah. I said, you have to make a choice today. You could go to treatment. And if you're not ready, you got to move out, man. You have a sister here. You're smoking heroin in the house. You know it. And he looked at me. He goes, you're right. But I'm not ready to go to treatment. I said, okay. Call me tomorrow, man. We'll go out to lunch. I'll feed you anytime. I'm not giving you cash ever. Right. But I'll feed you anytime. I don't hate you. I'm not angry at you. And you just can't be here, man. And he knew I did it out of love. And today, Nathan is multiple years sober, married with kids. Now, is that always the story? No. Okay, no. There's plenty of people when I've done that too and said F you at the time and have come back. And as long as I say it that way, there's no emotion, negative emotion in me. There's positive is, I don't want to do this, right? Yet, at what point in time am I giving you the wrong message? And again, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm okay to be wrong, because the truth is the more I listen on your podcast to the unconditional love message, the more I agree with it. So I agree with it 100%. And I guess if a parent is incapable of doing what we just discussed, because I know you're capable of that as a parent. Yeah. So I know you say no to your kids. Then you're right. You're 100% right. Let's go go.
That's where I've come to.
I agree with you, because if you're going to do anything out of selfish emotion, out of anger, out of shame or disappointment, don't do it as a parent. Right. Don't.
This ad is for the women listening to this podcast. This company is called Wig Guru. It's wig-guru.com. They have the most innovative ways to deal with one of the worst issues of wigs, which is slipping back and it looking not in place. Women have a big issue with, not noticing when everybody could tell that it's a wig because it's slipping back. The amount of innovative products that Wig Guru have is phenomenal. They are customer-based. Many, many customers are reaching out and saying, could you make this product in this different way? And, I like this part, but I don't like this part. There are many, many different types of wig grips, including the trademarked and copyright pending Grip-A-Fix, original Grip-A-Fix, and as well as her wig glue, which is water-soluble and is taking the internet by storm. So go over there, put in the code BRAINSTORM, and you will get 10% off. It is wig-guru.com.
Because your kids know it.
I think you nailed something that it's like it really hit me when you said it. It's that they don't know that you love them. Parents are like, I love them. What do you want from me? I told them I love them. The whole thing, and I want to get to your book because I want to plug your book early on because people get off it quick. Like I might forget. We get deep in conversation, forget to plug your book. Book is coming. The purpose, it's not like they're something cracked. Something cracked. Maybe it's in the generation, but something cracked in the mind of these kids where they don't believe that they're loved. So I don't care how smart you're being about like the tricks and I'm going to say it this way and this way. If they're not convinced that they're loved, then they're never going to be able to internalize it and love themselves. It won't be able to do it.
Never.
So the point of this unconditional love, which I don't really believe in the concept of unconditional love besides for God. Like human beings have conditions. I hope for my kids I'm about as close as you can get. But there are things, there are things that a kid could do that could actually crack that. But if a kid doesn't feel it, your priority, even your story, it's such a beautiful story, but it's so sad that it's a beautiful story. And I'll tell you why. Because in my brain, why shouldn't a kid know? It's not a chiddush. It's not like, oh, so that's a new thing that my father loves me more than his religion.
Right.
Why is that? Like every child should know, listen, I love my religion. I love my connection to God. I love my connection to my people and my community. They are not even a close second to you.
And by the way, Hashem tells us this. He took us out of Egypt before he gave us the Torah. And when did he take us out of Egypt? At the lowest level of Tumah.
Right.
His chosen people, lowest level, created the greatest miracle of all time, cutting the sea. 10 plagues. I was about to say 7 plagues.
7 plagues.
I don't know. Maybe 10 plagues. Moshe Rabbeinu. I mean, why? To tell us, I love you no matter what. Please feel loved by me. Do not. Please don't worship me because I hate you or you're fearful of me or spiteful. All these are lies. I love you no matter what. And you're right. I guess we're of a generation. And it took me till, I don't know, well into recovery to know that my parents loved me the best way they know how and messed me up the best way they know how. And I do that to my children.
People call it like generational trauma. I just call it minhagim.
Exactly.
That's the minhag of my family. What are you talking about? I'm trying to traumatize you as best I can, like my parents and the parents before them.
Well, in a segue to unconditional love, we'll go to the book for a minute.
Wait, can I just introduce your book?
Yes.
First of all, and I have a question right off the bat.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, this is the book. It's by Rabbi Asher Gottesman, and it's Connection. And the subtext, this is where I have the question.
Yes.
The easiest solution to the world's greatest problem.
Yes.
Which I freaking love that subtext. I'm just going to say, and we'll say that. But I think, do you find that people get insulted when you say there's an easy solution here?
Yes, I actually do. And I find that in our field specifically, people get insulted. Why do they get insulted? You said the older you get, you realize you're a bigger moron. We want to sound smart. Really? The truth is, the solutions, 0.9% of the time are simple. Really difficult, but simple.
Right.
And we want to sound smart. So we're going to start giving our opinions, giving advice, which a great therapist should never give advice. Okay? Oh, I shouldn't say never. There's no such thing as never. But a good therapist can say, this is what I would do in the given situation, yet I'm not you. You're created, especially a Jewish observant person, or any observant person, or any spiritual person. We believe that you're created in the image of God. And that means you're created with all the tools necessary to heal yourself. So if I'm great at what I do, I just quiet your mind so you can hear yourself. So yeah, it is easy, simple. I'm not coming up with new stuff, man. And connection is this, right? Am I lonely now? Hell no. I feel connected to Sani. I'm listening to him. He's listening to me. He's valuing me and I'm valuing him. And to me, that's unconditional love, actually, right? If I'm giving to you without an expectation of return, I receive everything, you receive everything. I think that's the only unconditional love in the world, period. But I mean, yes, Hashem towards us.
Yeah,
Hashem towards us, because we piss him off all the time, and he still loves us unconditionally. But
yeah, I feel so much. I feel so much. I feel the reason I ask that question is that people get insulted. They want to know that there's a complicated answer because it's so much pain. There must be something really, really complicated because I've tried so long to get to the answer that it must be some elusive like. And I found that all the answers, like you said, maybe not 99.9, it could be, but are...
See,
like,
good, you disagreed. Yay.
I disagree. I'm at a 98. But I was saying is, if I can't explain it to a dummy,
yep,
it's probably not the answer.
Correct.
When I say something to people, they're like, that really resonates. I'm like, good. Because you could have thought of it yourself. I'm not way smarter than you. I have seen tens of thousands of addicts and you haven't. So I'm convinced that this is the answer, but it's only because of experience. It's not because of the books I read. It's because I just met so many of them. I'm like, oh, and this is the thing that they're all missing. And the fact that you call it connection, love, man.
I mean, that's what we're seeking in life. Safety.
I know, I just love the
safety
name.
and connection. That's all. At the end of the day, all I want is for you to see me and tell me I'm lovable just because I am, and I shouldn't be afraid to be vulnerable and show up who I am. And just because I have demons in me or in my head doesn't mean I'm a bad dude. Again, that doesn't justify my actions. Right? I still got to make amends. I still got to clean up my side of the street, which is why I love Judaism more than any other religion, is because God says to us on Yom Kippur, I forgive you for every sin you did to me. The sin you did to Sani, sorry, bud, you got to go apologize to Sani, make an amends and clean your side of the street. I can't do that for you.
Right.
Right? We don't believe in absolution. We just don't believe in it. We believe in tshuva. In repentance.
So I'll ask a question, and
Sure.
it's going to sound stupid coming from me because
Go ahead.
it's more of a question I get from other people. Why can't I just fix this by just doing the work? Meaning, like, why can't I just go out there and just, like this? I'll say it differently. Tony Robbins is out there yelling and screaming, like, get your act together. You got Stephen Covey's got 7 rules. Like, these are the things. That's how you make it. Why can't I just fix my problems by living the life the proper way and listen to all the coaches? And why do we need this hippy dippy connection to make this work? Why can't I just? So many people are out there. I mean, I'm on Instagram because I love it. Shamelessly, I love scrolling through Instagram and seeing what people are saying. So it's like a ton of people saying, "Get your side of the street clean," and I'm not saying that's not part of it. But what's with this hippy dippy connection stuff? Why do we need that to get to that? Could you explain it?
I don't know if I can say why. I can say my experience, right? And my personal experience is personally, right? In my history, my story, I believed I wasn't lovable, right? So if you really knew me, you couldn't love me. And I spent my whole life giving to you. So I'd own you, okay? I wasn't giving to you, okay, because I was being generous. I was giving to you because if I didn't give to you, you'd leave me. Therefore, I can't just go do because I was doing and it didn't work. It didn't fill this pit in my stomach. So I had to realize what I was doing first. I have to realize that and by the way, I admire and I'd say I'm envious of Tony Robbins. I think Tony Robbins is very surface level and forgets the depth of what he's doing at times, telling people break up or you're not suicidal. It's pretty cool what he pulls off. And listen, he is incredible. Probably the greatest voice of our generation. Yet let's get deeper, and I don't think any of that works in the long term. Okay, it maybe for some individuals it does. Yet let's go back to it. If I don't feel connected to myself, right? If I don't learn how to fall in love with myself. Now, it starts with falling in like with myself, okay? Because if you had told me when I started my journey I'd love myself, I would have been angry at you because I couldn't even hear it. I couldn't. It was not possible. So, okay, are there parts of myself that I like? Yeah. Okay, I can identify with that. And pretty much I think almost anybody can, I hope. Is there something about yourself you like? And let's start with that. So that's connection. So I think first we have to, in order for it to stick, I have to be a vessel, right? I go back to Torah, right? Why is derech eretz not a mitzvah? It's not a mitzvah because it's the whole foundation. Without it, I'm a sieve. It's empty. It's coming right through. So if I don't have a love for my fellow, then I'm a sieve. If I'm not kind to my fellow, I'm a sieve. So if I don't have a me, if I don't find my me, then, right? I joke that, I don't joke. Ego works in 2 distinct planes. I'm either better than and I can get away with it, or I'm worse than and I might as well not try. Right? How about I'm just a right-sized guy and I got to be responsible? That's the hardest. And I'm worthy of being responsible. Worthy. Wow. Hold on a second. I don't have to be responsible. No, I'm worthy of being responsible. So I think that's the answer. I think the answer is very simple, that if I'm not a vessel, then I can't go do the work. I can't.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, I have a marshal that I say with the gas tank in the car, which is such a simple marshal.
Right.
Again, if it's not simple, it doesn't.
Exactly.
That's why I love it. It's like if it's not simple, it's probably not right. But it's just that Tony Robbins is the best car detailer
In the whole
exists.
world, man.
But if the tank is empty, I don't care how gorgeous that Maserati looks. Like if the tank is full, you want to go to Tony Robbins. He'll tell you how to like make it work.
Oh,
And
yeah.
He'll perfect that. He'll upgrade your car 100 times. But what I found is that people keep trying to upgrade their car and then they don't have the worthiness tank full. They're just empty. So they're running on fumes the whole time. That's kind of.
There
But I
you go.
love that you went into the idea of connection. I mean, so in the book you do talk about your own experience.
I do.
And interestingly, I came into your life when you were coming out of, well, I mean, you were just starting your sober
I just
living.
started I was 9 months. I was about 9 or 10 months sober.
Right, you were really coming out.
I was green as green can be.
How many years ago was that?
That is 18 years ago.
18 years ago. Wow. I used to remember, I was just like, you with that little house, one house.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. Now you've transcended. Which we haven't talked about with that, but in the book it's interesting because you don't have, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but it's not like this typical like horror trauma story.
It's not.
And yet somehow you felt this deep sense of loneliness and unworthiness, and it didn't come from this like, which is unique because we work with a lot of people, and if you dig enough, you just find that absolute trauma. For some reason, could you explain like I guess you have to tell a little bit of your story to like understand like what it is.
Yeah.
but-
So again, yeah, I'll share. My story basically is I'm the youngest in my family by 8.5 years, and I felt severe abandonment, and I had abandonment trauma. My sister, who I called mommy because I had an Ima growing up, Ima's how you say mom in Hebrew, got married when I was 5. That was my first sense of abandonment. My parents took a year sabbatical when I was 8 years old, and they left me with a newlywed couple. It's kind of a funny story. In retrospect, not
Hilarious.
then. Exactly. I was afraid of the night. I was afraid to sleep by myself.
What kind of Gen X crap is that, bro? Just leave your kid.
So I was afraid to sleep by myself. They left me with this newlywed couple for a few weeks in Israel, and I knocked on their door their first night. I knocked on their door the first night, and I said, "Did my mommy and daddy tell you about my little problem?" And they're like, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm afraid to sleep by myself." And I crawled into bed with this newlywed couple, or at the edge of their bed. And I knew it was shameful. I knew it was embarrassing. I know it was 8. And I started feeding it initially with ice cream. And my first drug of choice was food. And for many, many, many years, I was baffled. Why do I feel so much pain? Why do I feel so horrible about myself when I had a great childhood? Grew up in a beautiful home. My father was a rabbi of the day school. He was an amazing man. We had our challenges, him and I, but in general, I knew he was a good dude. And I feel terrible, horrible. And I would say to myself, crying, looking in the mirror, as a good shame person does, that was who I conversed with. And I would say to myself, if only I was raped or beaten to death or left in a cage, I can understand why I feel this way. And it gave me a great lens in life. There is no correlation between pain felt and pain inflicted. there is a boy or a girl that can be raped, and for some reason they're able to get through it. And yes, they have trauma. There's no way. But I'm saying they're able to work through it. And then there is one that the teacher said, you're stupid. And done, it finished. It destroyed them for life until they repaired. My abandonment was my trauma, and it was my pain. And I had to learn how to appreciate that sometimes abandonment trauma is as big for that person as the other traumas, which are objectively bigger, right? It's objectively worse to get raped than it is to be abandoned. It's objectively worse. Subjectively may not be. So I guess if that answers your question.
It does answer my question, because I stopped asking why people who get traumatized suffer.
Mm-hmm.
I started asking how people who got traumatized do well. I'm trying to understand, because I have found it makes sense. You get hurt, a bad result. It seems to be on the person, and that's a really crazy thing to say, because in one way it's incredibly empowering, meaning we are the people that somehow absorbed this trauma, became trauma, but we have the ability to work our way through it.
Right.
That's what I'm like. I'm studying the art of resilience instead of studying trauma. So when I hear your story, I hear it didn't matter what the trauma was. It absorbed like it was trauma, and you felt it like trauma. And now how does one person like you get out of that trauma and turn it into, transcended?
Right. Well, that's why one of my chapters in the book is all about forgiveness. And that forgiveness is not for the person you're forgiving. It's for us.
Right.
Right? Because we carry this burden on our shoulders, or this gorilla on our back, or whatever you want to call it, big luggage of being angry, being a victim, and we were victimized, okay? I'm not telling you weren't victimized. I'm telling you that if I believed it helped you in any way, shape, or form, I'd encourage it. Unfortunately, it ain't going to help you. It's just not. Being a victim will never help you. Being a victor will help you. And therefore, if you offer forgiveness, not for that person's sake, I'm not saying forget, I'm not saying be their friend. I'm saying, hey, you don't own me anymore. I'm letting this go. That is the way out of trauma. And as you said, you had the ability and you use the resilience. On your podcast, I learned this and I use it a lot, so I steal it now from you, is the resilience thing, right? I think that trauma took away our resiliency reserves. And if we can build up resilience, we can conquer anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's recovery, therapy, and which will go back to another thing I said about 12 steps, and that it benefits everybody. 12 steps is not treatment. 12 steps is community. It's support. It's right. Yes, you do need to do therapy. Don't get me wrong. Yet showing up to a place where you're seen and heard and held accountable is how the therapy is going to go into action. And as a good ADD guy, I lost my train of thought of what I was going back to.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say there's something you said. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready to turn this into a therapy session for me?
Ahead. Yeah.
I want to talk about Our Village Women's Home. Our Village is a sober living community in Pomona, New York. And a lot of people mistakenly believe that's this is like a regular, like halfway house. It is not. It is a full-blown community where you are embraced and loved and cared about and cared for. And they will literally do anything to help you move forward. It is the safest and most wonderful place to come and get your way through the recovery. They help you in every single way. Our Village is everything you need to help you get through the most difficult time of your life, early recovery. And it helps you transition into an independent, amazing life. And we believe in Our Village that everybody has the potential to be their amazing self. And the people that come are awesome. The staff is awesome. You definitely want to get in touch with them. It's ourvillageny.org. Reach out and you'll find out all about it. I feel like maybe that's the other reason I have this podcast, because somehow I'm more vulnerable on the podcast than I am anywhere in the world. But you say this forgiveness thing. It's such a brand new concept in my life. This is the craziest thing. I actually want to ask you about psychedelics, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, I'll get there.
Because this is where it comes in. In my life, when I was very young, I used to get angry at people. It stopped. And then it just got to this place where people could hurt me. And I thought it was like I'm a superhuman, that I didn't get angry. And then it occurred to me recently, a couple of years ago, that I didn't even acknowledge how special I am, that someone shouldn't hurt me. Like I just assumed.
Ouch.
How painful is that?
Yeah.
Like I just assumed if you hurt me,
I deserved it.
I deserved it. It was not even like, I'd say it even different. Go to the codependent side. I just didn't fool you enough to be nice to me. Like you said earlier.
Right.
Like I haven't manipulated this person enough that they're just always happy with me. So I did something wrong, so I got to up my game and do it. Actually, a couple years ago, I did psychedelics for a second time, which is probably the reason I get the most. We'll talk about, like, in the 12-step community, they have a very hard time with this, because I did it. I mean, I only did it twice in my life, but it's and a decade apart. But this last one, it just told me, not only are you too heavy to hold, you're like a helium balloon. Like, people just want to love you. Like, it's like not even like hard to love you. It's like delicious. And since I got that experience, I have been hurt hundreds of times in a way I've never experienced before. It's almost like I'm a little child getting hurt again and not knowing what to do with the experience. Like, I have to learn to forgive people now for the first time in my life. You're talking about the last 3-4 years.
Right.
Because all of a sudden I'm like, I am special and you're supposed to love me. Why aren't you loving me right now? What's going on? What happened? Why are you hurting me? I literally started saying during conversations, ouch. Like, if someone says something to me, I'm like, I feel like a little child. I'm like, ouch. And we're like in the middle of like a business meeting and whatever it is. And all of a sudden this adult Sonny who's got it together is like, that hurt? Why'd you do that? Never occurred to me before. Anyway, I'm just bringing it up because it's like, we talk about forgiveness is now, like, I feel like I'm learning forgiveness now because I actually get hurt.
Well, because
that's how sick that is.
Well, you actually value yourself.
Right. I didn't realize it until very recently. That it's wild.
It makes me happy that you value yourself now. It makes me sad that you didn't value yourself till now.
Yeah.
And I didn't too. So I get it.
We're there.
So I didn't as well. And
no, I love it that because, okay, so I'm building these sober livings, which hopefully you'll come over afterwards if we have time. And the whole idea is that I didn't want to build a sober living home. The whole thing was about a community. So now we're up to 6 homes and we got the first women's home. Like, it's about building this community of people working together. In everything that I've seen in the 12 steps and the effectiveness and the awesomeness of it, what I've seen the most is this. I love that connection is the name of your book, is that it's the fellowship is more powerful than every other part of it. And I also love, and you said before with like leaving Mitzrayim, like we left at the lowest level. The 12 steps has that idea in the first 3 steps where it's like, you don't have to be good yet. There's no action steps yet. You don't have to go do Until Sidaim, so Hashem loves you. Hashem loves you before you did all that stuff. And like so that's what I have always felt is missing is the first 3 steps. I always felt that if you had a solid first 3 steps, the rest of the steps that's cruise control. It's not cruise control because it's hard, but you're full. You're full. You could go. So you really like nailed it because you could have focused the book on like the work we got to do and
No, it's just the opposite.
Well, okay, so I'm going to ask you a very practical question. there's so many ways I could go. I'm just so excited to be sitting. It's crazy that I've never physically met you and we've spoken a million times. It's like, it's so crazy. I don't know. This is what happens when you're at different sides of the world, like different sides of the country.
No, it's okay. It's the world, right? Because those that from New York's the only place in the world.
That's true. I don't even know what you're doing
Yeah, exactly.
out of New York.
What's LA? Like,
What is it?
it's the weather.
We're starting to
By the way,
accept
LA
Florida.
used to be cool. It's not cool anymore.
It's not cool.
No, it's gross.
It's so gross.
Gross.
I feel so sad.
Gross. I mean, and COVID just exponentially made that faster.
It just made it much worse.
Ugh. So
Okay,
sad.
so here is the question I get a lot. So I'm asking you, see if what you do with it is that a person is feeling hopeless, a person is feeling lonely, all the feelings that you talk about, shame and all that stuff. What needs to happen is he needs to be surrounded, or he or she needs to be surrounded with all this love and see the hope in each and everybody else's eyes so they can borrow that hope and all that beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
How does somebody whose entire being says, do not trust, do not go there, do not ever let anybody in, how does a person like that actually go for help? They're walking into the lion's den. When they walk into, you said 12-step meeting never hurts anybody, but I know a lot of people walk into 12-step meeting and they recoil. They just
they recoil because listen, it is counterintuitive because they are socially uncomfortable. That's not the word I'm looking for, but they have social anxiety.
I think they're socially wary.
And they're weird.
Could I use that word?
Yeah, sure. So
Because
again,
anxiety is like so like I have social anxiety. I just know that all these people are out
gonna
to
hurt me.
screw
Everyone's
so
gonna hurt
like-
me.
So I'm staying away from them.
so again, what so it's the same thing with being a victim. I say I hear you. I don't blame you for not trusting anybody. I really don't. It's been proven to you over and over. Every time you've trusted, you've gotten hurt. Unfortunately, you're continuing to get hurt by not trusting. You just are. So your life isn't a choice of trusting or not trusting. It's a choice of if I don't trust or I don't go back to attempting to trust, I'm going to continue to be hurt. So I'm going to suffer. And therefore, how can I give myself less suffering is by taking that risk. There's no other way. And do it slowly. I'm not suggesting, and trust doesn't mean in telling somebody everything. It doesn't mean that, right? It just means be slow. And you can be an observer for a while and watch how other people do it and see what happens and share a little bit about yourself and share the stuff about yourself that is not a big deal. You know, for me, trust is one simple word, asking for help. I could tell you everything else about myself, my story, my drunkalog, blah, blah, blah. That's not trust. That's not even vulnerable at all. If I tell you I need help, I'm scared, that to me is vulnerability, and that's where I have to trust. Because now you can really hurt me. And I get it. And you have been really hurt. And I say to myself, hey, yeah, they can hurt you. And they can prove it wrong. And I guess that's the only choice I have. Right? And it's really, right? Brene Brown, right? Brene Brown is 2 words, right? Shame, trust, resiliency. Okay, I just said vulnerability, 4 words. Brene, we said everything. We gave all your books away, 4 words, right? But she's right. It is simple, right? She's made a world out of simplicity, and it's beautiful.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy what?
No.
Good, please.
Okay, let me say this.
Thank you. You don't buy it. Good.
No, I don't buy Brene Brown.
Oh, okay.
My God, I love everything she says. I'm not saying I don't buy it. I don't buy it because
Go ahead.
I'm a fraud.
What does that even mean?
I'll explain this.
Okay. You're not a fraud.
I'll
Okay.
explain why I'm a
That's your
fraud.
old self.
No,
that's
no.
the self that's like, okay, let me protect myself because what I'm about to say, maybe someone will disagree with me, so I'm going to call myself a fraud. Sonny, you're not a fraud. Sorry.
Okay, relax. I'll get there. I don't really think I'm a fraud, but in a certain sense, I'll tell you. It is nice when you're getting healthier in life and you've gone healthier. The little nuances, they seem huge, but they're just like, I don't feel like I'm fixing like massive things like earlier on in life, but the nuances, it's so beautiful to like attack a tiny little nuance. So the fraud is the nuance, is that I know what's right on some level, and I've been offering it to people and telling people this is what you got to do. This is how you got to live, and to the best of ability, I try to do that. But Brene Brown is all about being vulnerable. She could get up at a TED Talk and say the most vulnerable things and all that. I don't believe, and the reason I don't believe this is maybe because I'm cynical, because it's me, that if I met her in the street, that she would genuinely be vulnerable to me. Like
She won't. I've met her in the street.
Have you met her?
I've met her, yeah.
I want to meet her so bad. Yeah. Okay. I have to make this podcast big enough that Brene Brown's going to come to Muncie.
No, believe me, she doesn't know who I am anymore. I met her in Houston in an office maybe 12 or 15 years ago.
No, she is, and I've seen this with a lot of people, and I'm one of them. She is trying to the best of her ability to be what she's saying that you should be. Mm-hmm. As same as me. I am all day talking about community and connection, and dude, all I want to do is stay at home and go nowhere. The idea of never having to do anything with anybody again is, I can't think of a more delicious thing in my whole life. Like, it is my biggest struggle. Everything I talk about is my biggest struggle. That's why I talk about it.
Right.
I mean, it's. I'm telling everybody, you got to be. I know that Brene Brown struggles so hard with vulnerability. She can't be vulnerable to anybody. She knows that that is what she needs to live her life. And I know that connection, community is what I need. And oh my God, my friends reach out to me like, come out with, and I'm like, could you please let me not go? Right. You know, like that is my feeling inside. I have a rule with some of my friends that I want to be invited. They're like, but you're never coming. I want the invite. Maybe I'll say no, but just remind me that you're there.
Well,
wanting
maybe
me to come.
it lets you know that they want you,
right?
And if you stop getting the invite, you immediately say, "I'm not wanted."
Right. I even have a funny thing because the shul I daven in, there's a little bit of marijuana being passed around sometimes. Okay. Whatever, no judgment. Again, not anti-drugs, anti-addiction. So we'll go with that. Yeah. Although there's plenty of addiction there. But for years, maybe 2 years of being in the shul, no one offered me. Now, I am the addictions guy, and I understand. But at least I want an offer.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say no.
Just at least say you want to share with me.
I think they were trying to be respectful.
They were being respectful. But I'm being left out. I'm going to say no. But just let me know, which is a funny thing. No, I'm not trying to call Brene Brown a fraud or me a fraud. But what we write about, what we give to the world for the most genuine people is the stuff we struggle with. It's when I read a book about connection, I know this is your lifelong struggle. I don't
Totally.
Right. So I was saying it tongue in cheek with the fraud thing, but the amount, like, you would think I'd be in there like doing community and getting involved in everything I can, and really it's because it's my biggest struggle.
Well, I'll also tell you because you're real.
Because I'm real?
Yeah, and you're honest, and you are who you are. You're not a narcissist, unfortunately. Sorry. Okay, and so therefore,
someone once called me a narcissist, and I keep going over in my head like I like watch narcissists.
You're the furthest thing from a narcissist. You're self-aware, and when you're self-aware, then the pain shows up in different ways because you don't want to go out, you don't want to do it. You're self-aware, yet you still do it.
Right.
Right? These are my lifelong struggles. I'm self-aware that I struggle. I struggle with being lovable, with believing I'm lovable. I struggle with, am I manipulating you, or am I taking advantage of you by what I'm saying? I struggle with these things. I struggle with the negative self-talk. Who are you to ever write a book? Get up there. I'd love to talk to Tony Robbins in a vulnerable moment and know if he struggles with any of this stuff. The impression I have is he's gotten up there and he's selling the world, and for whatever reason he doesn't struggle with this stuff. And I'm not suggesting, Tony, you're a narcissist. I don't know. Okay, I'm just suggesting that you're very real, and that's what makes you lovable to me, actually. And yet to the world, they don't want to see that.
They don't.
No.
They want to see the Sheeta guys.
They want
come
to see,
out.
They want to see the Sheeta guys. They want to see the Tony Robbins. The world wants immediate solutions. It wants fixes.
Right.
I mean, we can go jump into psychedelics now.
Right.
Okay, let's go jump into psychedelics.
Let's jump into psychedelics. Well, first of all, I want to say the psychedelics because I've gotten a lot of heat from the 12-step community about psychedelics, even though, again, it's about platforming.
Mm-hmm.
I platform people with new ideas. Psychedelics is one of these. Well, I wouldn't call it a new idea. It's probably the second psychedelic revolution, but it's a newish idea, and people are using it for healing, and I've seen some success. So I platform it, even though I have said many times, this is not. First of all, easy solution. I don't necessarily believe in anything that doesn't have follow up and doesn't have real growth and all that stuff. I've said that, but it doesn't matter because the 12-step community in general, I get a lot of heat. Like any type of substance that you put in your body, even for any type of healing, is bad. Although, and then I get a lot of I don't know if it's making its way into the 12-step community a little bit. I think it is on some levels, especially in California.
Exactly.
Right? You guys, you can't control yourselves.
Yeah.
What's that called? LA sober?
Cali sober.
Cali sober, where you get to smoke pot?
You can smoke weed. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. But I love it. It's LA.
Soon they're going to have, I don't know, something sober we can drink, but go ahead.
Right. No, so what I'm saying, right. Yeah, something sober you can. Dude, they have it already. The kava bars or what do they call it? They have it in Florida. They have it this guy wanted to start these, they drink kava or they get them a little bit buzzed, and everybody in recovery is starting to do it. I'm like, okay, that's not real recovery.
That's not real recovery, yeah.
No, I actually saw, so I have a lot of views on psychedelics, and we could get into it, but I am very surprised how I'm being attacked on this topic because I do talk about it. From the 12-step community, and I'm like, why are we not attacking me the same way if I talk about psychotropic medication, which is freaking rampant. Nobody walks out of rehab not on at least 13 to 14 different medications. They just don't. To the point where I'm like,
it's too much.
It's too much. I actually see psychedelics as kind of an alternative to that craziness. That's the. I'm like looking for alternatives to that. Because I think that's another big issue. Anyway, so I get a lot of heat on this, and it's also my problem because I'll sit and talk to someone about psychedelics, and it sounds like I 100% are on board the entire time. So again, it's my problem.
So
what do you think about this whole craziness?
I think that there is one word that I will use: motivation. Motivation, follow through. What's your motive? Why are you seeking psychedelics? So let's start with that. Psychedelics, I've done psychedelics. Okay. And it's had a huge positive impact on me.
Meaning in recovery?
In recovery.
Okay.
And again, it was in a setting, it was in a place, it was not, I didn't do it privately, or I didn't do it at a concert. Right. And what I say is, and this is just for me, and I recommend that everybody creates rules around it, is my motive was I've struggled with depression and anxiety my whole life, okay, and negative self-talk, and I've taken psychotropic medication. I may still take it,
okay,
and I don't want to. so I'm seeking, and I've had bouts of deep depression. So I've been seeking ways to, deal with it. And so I went for psychedelics, and it gave me messages. And what I said to myself is, until I integrate that into my life in a meaningful way, I'm not doing psychedelics again. Do I have a therapist so I can integrate afterwards? Am I doing the work afterwards? Then I don't see any problem with it. It's the same problem I have when the 12-step community used to start talking about psychotropic medication. You're not a doctor, bro. Okay? You're just not. And again, we could go back to the Suboxone/methadone thing. For many, many people, I think it's the wrong thing. For some people, it may be the right thing. And we forget, what are we doing here? We're trying to help people heal. Period. End of story. We're all trying to help people heal. That means let's use every tool in the toolbox, as long as we're using it to heal, right? If you're taking certain psychotropic medication to check out, hey, bro, it's bad. If you're taking psychotropic medication to right here on antipsychotics because you have psychotic challenges, don't you dare get off that medication, right?
Right.
So everything is nuanced for what's appropriate. And so, the big one now is ketamine, right? Ketamine infusions, ketamine injections, or ketamine nasal spray. I actually think the nasal is the worst one, even though that's the FDA approved one. I just think that it's too easily accessible, and you're going to start using it at home, or the lozenges, this. Most people are not going to take a shot or an IV. Okay. And when I did IV ketamine, I didn't want to do it again the next day. It wasn't like, oh my God, that was so enjoyable, I want to do it the next day. There's a lot of downloads, a lot of messages, but I'm nauseous and I need a rest and I need a break. And it was interesting because you're supposed to do it, I think, twice a week for 6 weeks or something like that. I don't know, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't remember exactly. I couldn't do it twice a week. I needed to spread it out at least once a week. It was just too much for my body. So that was my experience. So I knew immediately when I was doing it that way, and I did not want to do it again, that, okay, there was I have a boundary. Yet I don't repeat it just because I'm feeling depressed again. Am I doing the work that I learned in there? Am I integrating that into my life? And how am I integrating it into my life? And once I integrate it into my life, is there space for psychedelics again? Maybe, maybe not.
So do you think, I don't want to say anything.
Sure.
Do you think that the 12 steps has gotten too dogmatic? Like it's too religious? Like these are our rules that we came up with and there's no budging in these rules? Because what you're saying is actually, I want to say it's a breath of fresh air for me, because I feel very oppressed by a community that has not figured it all out yet. Like 12 steps is definitely, Churchill had that line about democracy, that democracy is the worst form of government besides for all other forms of government.
Which are worse, right?
Yeah, right. So that's how I think of the 12 steps. Like there are issues, there are, not 100% of people walk in there get better, and their excuse is, well, you didn't work it. And that's true, but a lot of people are not missing it. But then we have to follow the rules 100%, and we could lose 90% of the people based on the fact that you have a great program, and then that great program has no movement. So you're someone who I respect as a 12. I'm not allowed to say that. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, I'm open.
You love the 12 steps.
I love the 12 steps, and I'm in 12-step recovery, and I give you the right to say it.
Right, okay.
Break my anonymity, have fun.
Just like, boom, knocked it.
I'm sober since March 19th, 2008. Go.
Congrats.
Okay.
And then 2008, wow, okay. Something to do with the crash? Okay, whatever, we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's in there, okay.
Pre-crash.
Pre-crash, good move. Actually,
I wish.
Get out early.
No, I knew I was done.
You knew you were done. Okay, so, but in general, I get a lot of, like, these are our rules, and so you're saying this is the greatest program ever, and there are other things that we need to try, and somebody is doing 12 steps for 10 years, 15 years, he's still struggling with things that are not necessarily dealt with in the 12 steps, like depression and anxiety and I'm living a great life and still suffering, and I need to make different moves. And there's therapy, and there's even the real hardcore 12-step, or some of them are like anti-therapy. But
Again, they're anti-therapy, they're anti-medication. I was at a meeting, maybe, let's call it 10 years ago. And it was actually a question-answer meeting. It was very interesting. And I've never been it's a very weird meeting instead of a share meeting, but okay.
Who was answering the questions?
The guy at the speaker.
Okay, fine.
And the speaker shared that before he was in recovery, and this guy is a wonderful man, okay? He's helped thousands, so I'm not going to say his name. He got up there and said before he was in recovery, he was in the psych ward many, many times. And in the room were many newcomers. And today, he doesn't feel the need to take any psychotropic medication. Not only that, it's bad for you. And I raised my hand, and I was called upon, and I said, I really don't have a question, I have a comment. Anybody in this room that is on psychotropic medication prescribed by a doctor, please listen to your doctor. And I sat down. Okay.
Right.
What do I mean by that? We all have opinions. And the 12 steps, yes, the steps themselves should not be messed with, right? Yet, just because I do something doesn't mean I'm not invited to the party, right? So what if you look at Orthodox Judaism, thank God it's wonderful, but it failed many, many people because we were told just if you don't keep the rules, you're not invited to the party. That's not true. It's a lie. Every Jew is invited to the party, no matter where you are on the scale. And the truth is actually to be invited to a 12-step meeting, you have one rule, literally one rule. A desire, right? A desire to be sober, right? That's it, man. You have a desire to change your life in one way, shape, or form. That's it. And you're welcome, right? That's it. So and it's what I'll go back to in the 12-step world, say about Judaism. Judaism's incredible. The Jews have messed it up. The 12 steps are beautiful. They're perfect. I don't even know how the hell Bill Wilson had the schus, I'll call it, or the merit to write these things. I mean, they're really godly. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're simple. They're just gorgeous. Yet, excluding another human being who wants to change his life because he's decided to use psychedelics. Now, if he gets up from the podium up front and starts saying, hey, God didn't write the Torah or the 12 steps, you have to use psychedelics to be in it, I get it, kick the guy out, right? But it's the same thing if you get up there and start talking about psychotropic medication. That's not part of the 12 steps. There's no step in there that says thou shalt not take medication. That's it. So I think that's the big problem we have today is we get so religious that we kick people out or we exclude people, right? To me, it was the most spiritual place in the world I've ever been, a 12-step room. Why? Because where else do you go that people of all religions, all walks of life, financially different, are just there to get better? Okay. If you're here to get better, please. If you're here to hurt others, get the hell out. That's it. That's it. That's my rule. So, and again, I think that the mistake we made in Judaism was we didn't make it beautiful enough to welcome people in, right? In Orthodox Judaism, to say, come to shul. Again, you got to dress a certain way, right? Because that's what you do. If you were going to see the president, you would do it too. So I'm not telling you have to wear a suit, but cover your nuts, you know? Can I say that?
You can say that. I already said touchy people.
Right. So whatever. cover your things. You know, again, I'm not asking you to cover your elbows as a woman. I'm just saying, basic.
Be respectful.
Be respectful.
No, so I see a lot of people with this psychedelic thing that they start to do psychedelics and then that becomes their new thing.
That becomes a religion.
And then they separate from. So my view is that it's a tool. It's a very powerful tool.
Great.
And almost everything out there could be a very powerful tool. When you start worshiping the tool, that's when you're in avodah zarah zone.
Yeah.
So if psychedelics becomes the thing you're doing to be better, then you're in trouble. I also see that with the 12 steps. They have like the meeting junkies and stuff like that. Like, go do the work and live your life and connect to your religion and connect to, like, this is not, this is a tool to heal. It is not your new religion. And
you don't live in the 12-step rooms.
Right.
Right? You live in the world, and you use that hour a day to give you guidance to live in the world, right? You daven so that you can go work.
But this really comes back to what we were talking about before, is that the connection, that we're seeking connection so much that ultimately becomes our God when we find it. That's something that's very fascinating to me, is that I'm always amazed by people's hope when it comes down to it. They think something is going to fix them. They believe. And I'm like, that's amazing that you believe that, because nothing has ever fixed you. There's always been things helping you to fix. But the second we find the thing that helps us, we become like dogmatic, intense. We become like jihadist about that thing. And then we don't realize that there's a plethora of things out there that could help us. So I don't know. See, I also, when I see psychedelics being used over and over and over, I'm like, what are you doing? You're going back to the original Har Sinai moment. That moment, you're going to keep going back to Har Sinai. No, you got to do 40 years in the desert now. Like, that's what's happening right now. There's no Har Sinai moment. So, but okay, I'm getting off psychedelics now because I want to ask you about my biggest. I think you were a big part of this, actually. And it's interesting. I'm going to give you a comment. It's very late into the podcast. I should have done this much earlier. I always wonder who's still listening, But
we could test them if they know the compliment you gave me.
Oh, they
were listening. If not, they're
if you
done.
know the compliment, say green. I've done
No,
this
I'm
before.
saying once you say the comment, if you were listening this much into the podcast, okay,
Yeah,
and you know the compliment, call me. I'll give you $100. Go ahead.
I'm not giving anybody $100.
I'm kidding.
I don't have $100.
Me. I'll give that guy first 10 callers.
First 10 callers get $100. I'm gonna be one of the callers. Anyway, if I remember. So I've asked myself several times, especially because of podcasts.
Yes.
I asked myself several times, who. Like, everybody's in a field, and they have their legends in their field. Like, oh, that's the guy. Like, if you're a therapist and you think of Brene Brown, or if you're a coach and you think about Tony Robbins, I consider you like one of my legends in the field.
Why?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you.
Because yeah.
Okay. So first of all, it's nice that I know you from like the beginning. Like, when I don't think any of the people I sent to you paid. I don't think anybody did.
No, they didn't.
When you discover someone who's really nice, you just send them everybody. You're like, no, but I watched you. You went and built a network of programs, and at no point, and I say, obviously it's for profit, it's different, but at no point did you lose the mission. I've seen so many people that it becomes all about just like dollars and cents, bottom line. Over the years, for people I've dealt with you or other people, there's not a person who dealt with you that it wasn't like, Usher's taking care of me. Like, it was like, that was the feeling. And I've watched so many people come and go, and you stuck so strong. It really has always been inspiring to me, because I want to give you that compliment that you're like, I consider you one of the legends of the field. And the other thing is that I love the rehab world, and I think they're doing a great job. But the fact is that the sober living world, the follow-up world, the work afterwards, the reintegration, you're the legend in that world. Meaning there's so few people that, you have the people that open their one house and kind of stay like that for a long time. And then you have the people who go totally corporate and just like opening 1,000 houses, and they're not thinking about the clients at all. You have made your programs really, really top of the line and kept it loving. And everybody's, there's scholarships all the time, and there's a lot of awesome stuff. So I love that when I think about the world I'm in the world of sober living. So I'm not in the world of treatment. I'm not there. I'm in the world of people learning to live life again. And so, okay, so I'll make this into a question.
Go ahead.
You know what? What do you think about all that? Just sorry.
So again, no, because I think it's my mission, and it's what I've done. Yet I am, and that's why I said to you, I feel a little bit. I don't know if a sellout is the right word, but over the last couple of years, I've transitioned to more on the PHP side of things and having people come in and insurance. And whereas for so many years, I was just primarily 100% focused on the sober living side. I just had to make a living, and I was losing money every single month. And I didn't have a balance to pay that off. And if I had unlimited resources, that's all I would do. I would only do sober living. And I would work with other outpatient facilities or therapists, and I would use the community and have my place only be community. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep on doing it,
right?
And so I had to change it up, a bit, or a lot of bit, and you haven't. So no, you haven't, and you kept it in the Jewish community, and it's just incredible to watch. And I've seen the growth that comes out, and I've seen the people that have gone through your programs work for you and work with you and compete with you and even pish on you. And so
I'm hard to pish on.
No, you're not. Oh,
no, I am, because
tall?
I'm such a nice guy.
You're the nicest guy in the world, but that's the problem.
You can
No,
still
because
pish on me.
Of course, because you're the nicest guy in the world. But the problem is that people, right? It's the famous story of the rabbi that used to lend money, and he used to put pebbles in the envelope. And finally, someone had the chutzpah to ask, Rabbi, why do you put pebbles in the envelope? Because no good deed goes unpunished. So eventually, you're going to want to throw stones at me. So do me a favor, just make sure they're pebbles. So,
That's a great story.
Right, you've helped so many people, and people can't handle it, right? So they get it, so they'll pish on you because it's too uncomfortable for them. They feel so indebted to you. They don't know how to just say thank you. Because that's all you want. You don't want anything more than that. You don't want huge compliments. You just want thank you. Sonny's a good guy. Thank you.
Dude, a thank you would be amazing.
Right. That's also that right. That's the bottom line. So, that's why I hope to told you. My goal and my dream is to do this with zero, and maybe there will be homes in Israel. And you're right, AZ, and just be community driven, and just help people, and for fun and for free, and because that to me it was given to me, and I got to give it back. And Hashem gave me a gift that I could listen. And I could love people when they feel unlovable, because I learned how to love me when I felt unlovable. So that's the dream. So that's what I think of it. I think of it as, man, what you're doing is incredible. And the worst thing not the worst, it's terrible that nobody's come to you and said, here's $1 million scholarship fund. And go do with it as you see, because we know you're going to do the right. You'll do. I
want to move this to the beginning of the podcast.
No, I'm serious. You know what? I'll make. We should. Again.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'll be of the $1 million scholar. We're going to call this the million. We're going to have a goal for this year. Whoever wants to help Sonny, we're going to do $1 million scholarship fund. Unfortunately, I'm not that well off. I'm going to start with commit the first 10 grand to the fund. So you have 10 grand scholarship money to use towards anybody you want blindly on one condition. Yeah. I don't want to know their name.
Okay.
I don't want to know who they are. Nothing about them.
Oh, wow.
I just want to know that you're doing it. So I'm in.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, guys, We need 100 more people.
We need $990,000.
900.
We need 900, 1,000. We need only 1,000, right?
Yeah,
we only need 999
people.
people. It's not.
That's not that bad,
right? $100 a month.
The truth is, I've been where I'm actually just separating from our place.
Okay.
Which is wild because I've been connected to them for 25 years, but I just separated December 1st.
Okay, and what are you doing now?
So I'm just doing our village. I'm just doing the sober living homes.
Okay.
Meaning I separated from the
treatment side of things.
No. The our place is dropping.
Oh, our place, the drop-in center in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn. Sorry.
Yeah. It's getting cold in there. I feel like it's getting cold.
A little cold. That's fine.
All right. So
you're just doing our village.
So
your
now
program
I'm collecting money for the first time, and I will tell you, I have been blown away by people's reaction. Again, it comes from the idea like, who the heck is going to support this? Like, who wants to support the work I'm doing? Like, I'm out there in the trenches by myself. It's so weird that I have this experience. Like, someone gives me something, I'm like,
so you have a 501c3 now?
Yeah.
Great.
No,
okay.
I mean, we always did, but it was under. It was
under our place.
It was under our place, but now we have our own. So, and now there's going to be a big fundraiser coming, and we're doing all this exciting stuff. Okay, awesome. You're a matcher.
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Anybody gives money is a matcher.
Okay. Oh, is that what it is?
No, because we'll do it day of.
Whatever. However we're doing it.
Guys, it's not what the podcast is about. We're not talking.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
The bottom line is, Sonny's afraid to ask. So I'm going to ask for Sonny on his fundraiser. Let's make a goal. How much is our goal? 7 figures. We want to raise at Sonny's fundraiser.
His fundraiser?
Yeah,
$3 million and be free to everybody.
Okay, there you go.
Free to everybody. I will tell you that my new board is like, why you want to do free to everybody? They're also not super stoked about that. I'm like,
so by the way, I would agree with them.
Yeah.
So my father, Alav Shalom.
Yeah.
He had a policy. And this policy doesn't exist in the world anymore, unfortunately. He ran a day school for 42 years. And his rule was, if you had the money, you paid. And if you don't have the money, it's free. Now, there are certain people who have the money, yet won't pay for their children. Mm-hmm. Those were free too. If my father believed with all his heart and soul that these kids wouldn't get a Jewish education because their father's a fool or their mother's a fool and won't pay, great, come in for free. Just because you have the money doesn't make a difference to me. That's my
I agree.
And you should put tuition as a break-even proposition. So if your cost is $10,000 a month per guy, make tuition $10,000 because you have many people in the world that are not charitable but will pay their bills.
Right.
It's okay. And then what you end up doing is being able to give a lot more for free.
Right. The scholarships. I'm with you. I think I have the same thing as you. Like, I'm doing this for free, so don't tell me how to do it. There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Eric has that from AZ House. I had him on the pod. He loves telling everybody to F off because he's like, you're not paying anything. Yeah, so you do whatever you want. This is what I'm doing, and that's it. By the way, how has it been to write a book? Because I'm dying to write a book and I haven't.
So write it.
I have been writing it. I just never do it.
So go do it.
How has it been to actually have a book?
So when I started, it was great. And as I started going through it, it was challenging because I didn't necessarily want to publish it. I didn't believe I had the right to publish a book.
Really?
Yeah. Meaning, again, it's that ego thing. It's, the first time I ever walked into a therapist's office, I told him I'm a true narcissist, that I've never done anything good in my life without balancing out the bad. And he says to me, your hardware is fine. Your software is severely messed up. You want to do something about it. And I go, yeah, I'll give you a little time to work on it with me. And that's when he told me I had a substance abuse problem. And I was like, no, I don't. It's just stop substances. And then he says, you have a drinking problem. I go, yeah, I do, but I'm not stopping that.
Right.
So, come on. I'll stop substances for you, but don't take away my alcohol or my pills, actually. So I don't know. I think pills are substances, but we'll that's whatever it is. So I always have that negative side. Like, who are you? Who are you, Ash? Who are you? Who are you?
How old were you the first time you went to therapy?
The first time I went to therapy, I was...
Because I'm like amazed that the first therapist you had was like a wise, awesome person.
No. Like. So the first time I sincerely went to therapy, I was 30. It was in 2007. It was only a year and a half before I got about a year. So March, let's call it May of 07, and I got sober in March of 08. Sincere therapist. He had 25 years sober at the time. I actually just ran into him. And I had no clue. I didn't know 12 steps. I didn't know nothing when I first went to therapy. I thought all my challenges happened because of my father. I really did. I was broken inside. I went from having a lot of money to losing everything, and I thought I was valueless to the world, and I didn't want to be around anymore. And so I went to therapy to check it out. I had kids, and I love my kids. I didn't know how to love my kids, but I love them in the way you say it.
Right.
I love my kids. Well, I love them. I'm not sure they knew I loved them. I hope they did. Now I know they do. After a lot of work. So, I went to a therapist when I was 10 or 11 to get rid of the fear of the night. So I think that was probably a great CBT therapist because he did it in like 5 sessions.
Did he?
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty
I had
cool.
a thing when I was young that I wet my bed. I think till today that's probably my worst trauma.
There's a lot of trauma. It's traumatic.
It was so traumatic. It was absolutely terrible.
It was also, you didn't have a waterbed. It was probably uncomfortable.
It was. I eventually got waterbeds every night. Every morning I woke up. There's a muscle in wetting your bed, though, is that it's a real addiction muscle. But every morning that I woke up wet, which was most mornings, the first feeling you feel is the warmest, coziest feeling you ever felt in your life because your entire body is warm.
Wow.
You wake up completely warm, and then the horror. It's like the shame just overcomes you. And
you couldn't sleep at friends' houses and stuff, I assume.
But I was sent. That's
that's the shame.
That was the shame. I went to sleepaway camp like this. I didn't want to go anywhere. It was horrible. I actually thought I would never be able to talk about it because it was so shameful until I heard Fran Drescher talked about it on like a radio show or something. You know Fran Drescher,
I do know Fran Drescher. I have a friend named Amy who's good friends with Fran. And I'm going to make sure Fran knows the story.
Oh, please let her know.
I'm going to.
She changed my life.
I
would love to have her on.
It would make, again, I'll tell Amy to tell her. I don't know Fran at all. Amy knows Fran, and I'm going to tell her to tell her.
So I don't know if it was a radio show or I don't know what it was. She talked about it, and I was like, this is an adult woman, an accomplished, amazing adult woman. Like, she's amazing in my book. She really did a lot.
Yeah, unbelievable. I think she's the head of the Screen Actors Guild or one of these things.
Yeah, something. She wasn't just an actress. She did like amazing things, and she just like opened her mouth and said my horror. I never heard anybody talk about it before, and I was like, I felt just that was like also it's like such a 12-step thing. Like you walk into the room and you're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Mm-hmm. That feeling I got it from Fran Drescher. I didn't know where.
That's awesome.
And
I think there's someone who wrote a book about she was a bedwetter. Oh, was it?
I think she wrote a book about bedwetting, and that's how I heard about it on a radio show. But she also wrote another book called Cancer Schmancer, which I thought was the funniest name of a book ever.
That's great. That's a great name.
It was such a great name. Such a Jewish name. Yeah. There's a Jewish line. The Jewish line is Cancer Schmancer, as long as you're healthy. That's the line. Anyway, okay. Holy cow! Are there any things that I missed that I should be talking about with you?
No, but I didn't
talk about the programs at all. But if you want,
that's fine. That's not important. But I want to go back to something you just shared and it's resiliency and bedwetting and Gabor Mate, who I'm very angry with right now because.
That's probably a very strong love-hate relationship, similar to what I feel.
I mean, I love the man with all my heart and soul. Yeah. What he has done for our community is incredible. The fact that he is anti-Israel. I mean, you could. I'm not here to say don't be pro-Palestinian, but you can't be anti-Israel. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you could be pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel, or pro-Israel. At least you can't be pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel. Sorry, whoever's listening. That's just how I feel. And so he interviewed Mel Robbins,
Right.
And Mel was saying that the single most impactful moment of her life when she was sexually abused. And Gabor said something wild. I mean, wild. He said, yes, that was horrible. He said, the next moment when that happened, who did you share it with? And she said, no one. And he goes, that was the worst moment of your life. That you knew at such a young age you had to keep a secret, that you couldn't trust somebody to share that, right? And when I hear about the bedwetting or my fear of sleeping at night, the fact that you couldn't share that, so then you had to go to camp and you had to go here and you had to go there and be shamed and embarrassed over and over and over again instead of again, and I don't blame your parents. This is not your parents are bad. Okay, really not. I feel for you in that. I feel for that boy.
Yeah.
Right. That had to go through the ability not to share that moment with whomever so that they can help him get through it. So he can go to camp and not be embarrassed or figure out how not to pour water on his bed so nobody knows that whatever you did to compensate. So I wanted to, I didn't want to leave it unmentioned, but then I will go to share one more story that I saw that talk about Israel today and resilience. Rabbi Katz, I'm forgetting his first name. He's a musician plus a rabbi in Israel. And he was sharing...
Shlomo Katz?
Shlomo, yeah.
Yeah.
He was sharing a story just recently that tears came to my eyes when he shared the story. He was saying that there was a couple that he was officiating their wedding, and one spouse had lost their spouse 4 years ago to sickness, and one spouse was killed after October 7th or on October 7th, and they were getting married. And one of the songs was Mi Chamocha. And he's like, this can't be. And he just ignored it. And they said, no, play it. And he was describing a word in Tehillim. I don't remember the exact statement. He was describing in Tehillim how that we're beaten and Shiftecho Mishantecha Hema Yenachamuni. Like your beating is going to give me nechama. Like what that? Like what? How does your beating give me comfort? Like crazy. So he says, and he finally understood it after many years from that when they said, and he saw the kids, all 9 kids together, singing the song out loud. Micha mocha bal givros, who is like you? The Baal, the owner master. Of Givura, master of Givura of greatness. Somebody who kills and then is going to bring back to life. Right, and that and they were singing it so loudly. Melech. And then they said as the wife, husband, and all the kids together. Just suffered, right? Like the biggest trauma ever in the history. And that's right. And that's what he meant. Your pain and your suffering. When we're together, when we're connected, when we have community, when we have people who love us and say, hey, you're a bedwetter, who cares? You're alcohol. Oh, that happened to you? Okay, I love you anyway. I don't love you anyway. I love you more because of it, right? Whatever it is, that is healing. And we could heal from anything. And that's how I'd like to end my statement, at least.
Wow. Oh, my God. Okay, I do have to ask you the rooftop question.
Ask away.
Which is, if you're standing on top of a rooftop, yelling to the world, the whole world is listening. What's your rooftop yell to the world?
To the world?
To the world.
It would be to God, really.
Okay.
And it would be Ad Masai. Until when, God, are you going to allow the suffering to continue? Enough.
Daikvar.
Enough. We need you so badly to reveal yourself to the world. It's enough. It's just enough, man.
We got it. We understand.
We got your message.
And if we don't have it fully,
And the truth is, even if we don't got your message, we don't got. We need.
We're not gonna get it.
We're so desperate. I must say, until when is the suffering going to continue? It's like I have a Rabbi who I consider like a father, Rabbi Orlowick.
Oh my gosh, that's my sister. I think is like that's her Rabbi.
So,
okay,
yeah. So Rabbi Noach Orlowick, I have the honor of speaking to him every Saturday night, and he's literally like a father figure to me. And I asked him once. I said, Rabbi, how do you deal with this pain? Like sometimes it's just too much, and I'm a feeler, so I'm maybe you call it an empath, whatever you want to call it. I'm not that guy that can hear someone's story or someone's pain and just have a boundary. I'm not that guy. I'm that guy that feels it that deeply for you. I feel deeply for you. And I said, Rebbe, what? And he says, the only time I don't think of it is when I'm too busy. Otherwise, you'll let me know when you figure it out. Right? So I'm asking God on Masai, until when are we going to have to feel this pain? I know God, you feel it too. And so if I was standing at the top of the mountain, I would also say, we are all lovable. We are all wonderful. We're all great. That doesn't mean you don't have to clean up your side of the street.
Yeah.
Okay. But
that's why you should clean up your side of the street.
You messed up.
Because you're great.
You messed up. You're not messed up. Right? You lied. You're not a liar. Right? If you ask me, that would be the other thing I'd scream at the top of the mountain.
You lied. You're not a liar.
Yeah. You lied. You're not a liar. You messed up. You aren't messed up. Right? You sinned. You're not a sinner. Okay? Don't label yourself, man. It's not true.
Right.
Okay? Yes, your actions aren't you. You need to clean up your actions, but they're not you. You were born whole, beautiful, gorgeous, incredible, amazing, beautiful. Diamond, man. Flawless diamond. Your flaws are your actions. Now go clean them up.
Wow. I like it. I love that question because it really gets to like, okay, clear it all out. What's the one message? I'll tell you the funniest one I've gotten so far.
Yeah.
I think I'll share it. A.B. Rottenberg was on, which is
great musician. Oh my God.
He's such a great musician. He's marvelous. Meatos Machine. He's Snooki Shapiro. Yeah. I can't. He's one of the greats. Anyway, I said, what's his rooftop yell? And he said, get me off here. I'm terrified of heights.
What is your rooftop yell?
I have several. Everybody has several. I think I'll say it a different way than I've maybe said it before. I think the only true win we have in this world is finding a spouse that'll stay with us and love us and be there with us. And everything else is icing. I didn't say it in a yell, but like if you found somebody, and it might not be perfect, it might not look, but if you found someone and you could figure out how to hang on to that person and do this life with them, that's the biggest lottery you could win. That's how I see it. And it's even like connected to what you've said about me. Like I'm never like I'm doing it lishma. I think most of it is that I really want my wife to be proud of me. Like I think a lot of it is that like I live almost my whole life thinking like, is the woman that I love gonna see this as special or see this as just like I'm selling out or not like being who I need to be and like I feel like I'm always trying to live up to that lottery that I won. So it always comes back to that, even though I have so much more messages about, people are beautiful and like, I want to promote people like realizing the power of a partner.
It's your Rabbi Akiva moment, right?
It's a Rabbi Akiva moment.
Right, Rachel, his wife, said to him, go, get out of here. You can do it.
You could do it.
Can you imagine?
She sat in poverty.
Poverty, nothing.
That's such a crazy
but
story.
Again, not only she sat in poverty, she was from a rich family.
the richest.
Right. So again, it's not right. If you grew up in poverty and sat in poverty, okay, sucks, but you don't know differently. She knew Rolls Royces and sat in poverty. So this shepherd who she saw the shepherd. She knew he was going to be great. He waited till 40. Right.
Right. She also dated a guy a little off the derech, like it's a real scandalous story.
Right? It's a good 12-step story. It's a good recovery story. It's not a 12-step story.
It's a good recovery story. What a beautiful, beautiful. I'm like so excited to have met you in person for the first time, which is, again, absolutely insane. And such an honor to have this conversation.
Thank you so
I
much.
really want to do it again sometime, but I'll have to
let's
get you
do it.
in here.
I'll come back now.
I almost feel like we should have like a recovery podcast, me and you, for a little while. Do a couple of them.
Let's do it.
Because we just touched topics.
Yeah,
but we
let's
didn't.
go. I'm
Okay.
in. I will come back next month.
Okay,
Done.
let's do that.
Okay.
All right, awesome.
Thank
Love
you.
man.
Thank you for this day that I've been given. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this chance. Thank you for this chance to live anew.